श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये माम् नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः.
So here is Sri Bhagavan Krishna speaking, and he says, I regard them as most accomplished in yoga, who possessed of supreme Shraddha, faith, worship me with mind fixed on me, constantly absorbed. So straight away Krishna feels the pulse of Arjuna and says, Saguna Upasana, form worship, is best. So Yuktatamaha is a superlative that he uses. Now what he's saying is, there are 3 practices that you need to follow. The 3 practices are, number 1, Mai Aveshya Manaha, with mind fixed on me. So the fixation of our mind, which is currently on the world, everything to do with the world. Take a look at it, the thoughts that flit through your mind from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep. It's all about the world. Isn't that true? So the law of life is, as you think, so you become. Therefore, the first thing to call yourself spiritual, to qualify for spiritual growth, the first thing that you need to do is shift the focus of your attention from the world to Mai Aveshya Manaha. That form that you have chosen. It could be Hanuman, it could be Rama, it could be Ganesha, it could be anything, deity, it could be a sound, it could be some symbol. And the role of symbols and myths and rituals are important in life, not only among Indians and Hindus, but throughout the world you have this symbolism rampant. In the West, they wear a wedding ring. In India, you wear the Mangal Sutra or a Tali, which represents the sacred marriage. If you say, I don't believe in symbols, I don't want to wear, nobody is entirely intellectual. It means something to you. It's sacred to you. You have a great deal of emotional investment in that relationship, and therefore it is that you carry the symbol of that marriage, which is sacred, and that is what you worship. Similarly, there are symbols all over. If you want to think of God, you need a reminder of God, because God is inexplicable, it's esoteric, it's subtle, it's vague. It's a vague concept that you don't know. And so this subtlety is brought within the realm of what you can understand. So Mai Aveshya Manaha. This fixation is important, like a lover fixes his mind on the beloved, and thereafter nothing else shakes him. So that is the first thing, the shift in focus from the world to that which is beyond the world. And then that must be followed up by Nityayuktaha, constant worship. Worship is not a part-time, once in a year pilgrimage, or once in a way fast, or periodic reminders. It is a constancy of thought. Whatever it is that you think constantly, that is going to happen in your life. This is what we don't understand. We don't understand the power of thought. So what happens is, you want success and you're constantly thinking of things that will get you failure. You want happiness. You are constantly thinking of things that will give you unhappiness. And then you sit there and say, oh, God is very unkind to me. God is kind. You are unkind to yourself. And so, Nityayuktaha, constancy of worship is what is required. When you think of the body, you become a physical person, and then everything that matters to you is body conscious. You can't move beyond the body. You shift your focus to the mind, and the world of emotions opens up before you, and it's a wonderful thing, where then you are able to function at a level of energy and vitality that baffles your understanding, because it goes beyond the limitations of the body. You shift your attention to the intellect, and you rise above even the emotional bondage. Now what he's saying is, you think of God and you become God. Simple. It's as simple as that. So why aren't you thinking of God? Because you really don't want to become God. That's the problem. So, nitya yuktaha, constancy of thought is what. Never mind God. First fix a goal. What is it that you want to achieve in life? At the end of your sojourn in this world, what would you have liked to achieve? Have you ever thought about it? Fix that. And then your mind must constantly think of that goal. That's all you have to do. The rest follows automatically. So simple. And then this constancy of thought must be done with supreme Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Faith is defined by three different people in different ways. Joe Goldsmith says, faith is belief in a thing that you do not know until you come to know that which you believe in. So, that faith in God must be unswerving. It can't shift according to your convenience. Rabindranath Tagore goes a step further, and he puts it poetically. Faith is like the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. Every morning, if you wake up at a time before dawn, if you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's absolutely still. At some point, suddenly the birds start chirping, and you look out of the window, it's still pitch dark. But you know that dawn is coming. Surely the bird feels the light before the sun rises and sings in acknowledgement of dawn before it arrives. So also we are in the darkness of this world. And in this darkness there is something in us which says there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is enlightenment. There is another state of being which is beyond this. And you know it's there. You work towards it like this. Adi Shankaracharya defines faith as the capacity of the intellect to absorb knowledge, to reflect over it, to digest it, to assimilate it into your system till it becomes an inseparable part of you, till you become it. So, when he says supreme Shraddha, he means a combination of all these three. So, in other words, in this answer in verse 2, he is endorsing that form worship or saguna upasana is the best. That's why he says, me mataha means this is my opinion. This is not an eternal principle. In other words, mataha, the opinion, is something that is applicable to a certain individual in certain circumstances, in a certain environment. It is not a universal truth. Throughout the Gita, he gives universal principles of life and living, but whenever he gives a specific prescription meant only for Arjuna, he qualifies it. So you know this is not a universal principle. In other words, if you're an intellectual, this verse doesn't apply to you. You can't say that worshipping me as a personal, me means a personal God, is the best for everyone. So he qualifies it. Now, once having said that and appeased Arjuna, in the next two verses, verses 3 and 4, he supports intellectual people. He supports the people who are performing formless worship, because the Gita is meant for everyone, universal people. So, let's see what verses 3 and 4 are taken together.